finishing up momentarily. Here's Adam Poe. He goes 1:44.12. Adam Poe from Tri-County, West Virginia. Still your top time will remain with Brandon Cole from Milton, Connecticut, 1:42.98. That made people's dad team this morning's events. Heat number 3 for the men in the water. Heat number 3 for the women in the water. Top time for the women, 1:53.77 so far. Cameron Davis, Sarasota out of heat number 1. Top time for the men, Brandon Cole, Wilton, Connecticut, 1:42.98. Also out of heat number 1. 13 heats for the men, 16 heats for the women. 200 yards of freestyle. And welcome to Greensboro, North Carolina, the beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center for the 2013 YMCA Showcase Nationals. Meredith Wisenhunt from Middle Tiger. We've seen her quite a bit in the long course and short course meets over the years. Center of the pool from the women's side. Lane number 4. Top time 1:53.77 on the women's course, 1:42.98 on the men's course. Heat 3 for the men, heat 3 for the women. And in the water. 200 yards of freestyle. Marty Wisenhunt will be your top timer now, 1:51.97. Real nice morning turn for Margaret. Middle Tiger, Spartanburg, South Carolina. And then down over on the men's course, down on lane number 8, Daniel Betts. He goes 1:44.17. And the top time on the men's is Brandon Cole from Wilton at heat number 1, 1:42.98. In the water for the women, heat number 4 of 16. The top time so far. Middle Tiger, 1:51.97. That's a good drop right there from his team time, 1:55.
All right, if we sit here.
Jim Wheaton to the help desk. Jim Wheaton to the help desk. Couple shout outs. Manwood Scotch Plains, Savannah Llewellyn, 17 today. Happy birthday, Savannah Llewellyn. Also, we had a swimsuit turned in. Thank you to Jordan Sawyer from Western Delaware for turning that in. Women's swimsuit found after time trials yesterday. That's available at the announcer's table. Coach a representative from Western North Carolina for Luke Lettner to the announcer's table. Thank you.
Triangle area. Again, lane number 1 up top on the men's course, lane number 8 on the bottom, and on the women's course, lane 1 on the bottom, lane 8 on the top of your screen. Both groups finishing up almost simultaneously. Ryan Held, he does come back and goes 1:41.91. That'll be your new top time and take over from Brandon Cole. So Ryan Held, 1:41.97. And over on the women's side, we had lane number 3. That was Erin Tyler from Lakeland Hills going 1:53.88. Top time on the women's side, the women's with Meredith Wisenhunt, 1:51.90. You got other problems? Yeah, Yeah, that's right. All right. So heat number 5 is in the water for the men. Heat number 5 for the women. 200 freestyle. 13 heats in total. Top time so far, 141.97. Ryan Held from Springfield, Illinois Wrestling. He was the first man to go under 20 seconds in 53 at YMCA National in 1992. Became my national champion in 53. And on the women's side, the top time Meredith Wisenhunt, Farmville, South Carolina, Middle Tiger. Center of the pool for the women. At our feet, number 5, lane number 4. This person from Burlington County, 15 years old, and also down there in lane number 1. We've got Megan Boone from Northwest North Carolina.
Providing support to strengthen our sport from grassroots to goals or ambitions.
5 heats of the men's 200-yard freestyle. On the women's side, finishing up in heat number 5. That's Megan Durham. She goes 153.73. Northwest North Carolina, the top time, the men's 151.97. Wisenhunt.
Good.
And the men's school seat number 6.
None. Give me a text.
We have 13
Give me a text.
running up today. Out first, 49.36. Halfway through on heat number 6. He just puts on out. And on the women's side, we've got Grace Hendy. Now it's Aaron McBride down up in lane number 8. Once again, top of the screen is lane 8. Bottom of the screen on the women's side is lane number 1. Reverse that for the men. Top of the screen, lane 1. Bottom of the screen, lane 8. Watching lane 9. Bottom screen are the men. Top screen are the women. So there is Bryce Pebble. She goes 141.91. So he has now got the top time. He's from Westport, Connecticut. Westport Western YMCA. 141.91 for Bryce Pebble. That is your top time so far.
Central Florida Coach, please send the deck referee on the
Placing
women's
Ryan
court.
Hell's time.
Central
Order
Florida Coach,
number
please send
7
the deck
for the men.
referee.
Now Noah Franz, your leader out of heat number 9. From Conrad, followed by Nathaniel Bowley up in lane number 2. Once again, the screen is lane 1 at the top for the men, lane 8 at the bottom for the men, lane 1 at the bottom for the women, lane 8 at the top for the women. So there's Nathaniel Bowley. He goes 141.16. It should be your new top time for the men as he comes out in men's heat number 9. Nathaniel Bowley from Wilton, Connecticut. It's up for the men, heat number 10. And for the women, we've got Sarah Nesterwitz. She's from Ridgewood, New Jersey. She goes 153.15. Top time for the women so far, 151.97. On the men's side, heat number 10 is in the water. And then on the women's side, 10 of 16 is in the water. Once again, thank you for joining us this morning. We're streaming live from Greensboro, North Carolina, the beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center for our YMCA Short Course National Championship 2013. 9 records set yesterday, including 2 in the morning standings. Actually, last night, a couple of very exciting races happened. The women's 1,000 and the women's 200 medley relay. The women's 1,002 national record set, a 500 and the 1,000. Danielle Valley from Sarasota, and on the women's side, 16 came under the national record. And that race was won by York and York County. But here we are this morning, day number 2. Heat number 10 for the men, heat number 10 for the women. 200 freestyle in the water. Top time on the men's side, Nathaniel Bowley, Wilson, Connecticut, 141.16 so far through 9 heats. And we're looking to finish up here in heat number 10. And there you have a 141 by Andrew Nesbitt, 141.38. So going into your circle seated heat for the men, it'll be heat number 11. In the center of the pool will be Vlad Pomerov. He was 4th in the 53 last night, so we'll see him get out early. Finishing up on the women's side. It's like lane number 5, Allie Snorley on Middle Tiger. Allie puts in a 152.27. In the water right now, Vlad Pomerov and his crew. There he is out first. Upper main line, he's out in 23.09. Vlad Pomerov. Your top time so far, Nathaniel Bowley, 141.16. So for Wilton, moving ahead of Vlad Pomerov, Zach Malloy. So on the women's side, heat number 11 is 16. First of our 3 circle seated heats for the men. Heat number 11 of 13. So Zach Malloy, he's at the 150 mark at 113.68. Followed by Vlad Pomerov and then Kevin George. Vlad in lane number 4, Kevin George in lane number 3. In your top time, 141.16 on the men's side. There we go, 139 for Zach Malloy, 37. So Zach Malloy, he'll take over your top time, 139.37 as we move to the second of our 3 circle seated heats. I'm sorry. Yeah, Zach Malloy, followed by Vlad Pomerov. Second of our 3 circle seated heats is now in the water for the men's 200 freestyle, heat number 12. So Zach Malloy from Ocean County, 139.37, your top time so far.
3 circle seated heats, men's 200 freestyle, heat 12 in the water.
Over on the women's side, we're finishing up heat number 11. Top time remains 151 with Meredith Wisenhunt. In heat number 11, we've got our athletes representative, Ben Creekmore. He was 11th in this event last year. He's in lane number 3. Sava Kearney from Hickory, Metropolitan Hickory, North Carolina. Ben Creekmore out first in 47.28, followed by Sava Turkanu from Hickory. Sava's headed off to Harvard. Ben Creekmore from Western Delaware. Once again, your top time, 139.37, Zach Malloy on the men's side so far. Ben Creekmore still leading, 112.32, opens up about a 2-second lead at the 150 mark over Sava Turkanu here in heat number 12, second of our 3 circle seeded heats. So Ben Creekmore was injured last year at long course, short course, coming off an injury. He's doing great. Great kid, great athlete. And he takes it at 1:37. That's your new top time. So Creekmore, I'm sure, will be in that final heat tonight, followed by Sava Turkanu and then Justin Neal on Middle Tiger. So your new top time, 1:37.97 on the men's side. Final heat for the men, just about ready to get in the water. There they go. Top seed in this heat. He was first in the 1,000 last night, second in this event last year. Alexander Katz in lane number 4. Once again, top of your screen, lane number 1, bottom of the screen, lane number 8. Lane number 3, Colin Ellington, keep your eye on him. He was 32nd in this event last year out of Yoda. And then you've got Ben Mays also in lane number 5. Ben was 12th in the 200 breast last night. But David Smallwood, he's out first from Bangor, Maine. He's out in 22.99. Next up, the women are finishing up on their side out of lane number 8. 1:51.51 is your new top time coming out of lane number 8. And that was heat number 12. And you have Ellie Badursko from Sarasota, Florida. So Ellie finishes up 1:51.51, and that is your new top time for the women. They're in heat 13 right now, men in their final heat. Alexander Katz takes the lead. He's at 1:14.14, 1:14.15. Alexander Katz followed by Colin Ellington in lane 3, and then up there in lane number 2, Ryan O'Neill. Here come the men just finishing up. And it will be Alexander Katz at 1:39.02. So your top seed unofficially going in will be Ben Creekmore from Brandywine, Delaware at 1:37.96. Some great swimming right there by Ben Creekmore to take down that top seed going in tonight. National record 1:35.96.
On the men's course, preliminaries of
Great swimming there. In the water for the women, heat number 13. Next up for the men's is the 400 IM, national record held by Michael Alexandrov, set back in 2003, 3:48.79. Heat number 1's coming up. There will be 14 heats, the men's 400 IM. Finishing up on the women's side. In the 200 free, this is heat 13. Last heat before our circle seeded heats. Maddie Rush in the center of the pool from New Canaan, Connecticut. Jumped on their van this morning to get over to the pool. I want to thank them for giving me a ride over to the pool. That was nice of them. And it will be Spence Atkins. And she, I don't have a time on her. The board is off a little bit, but pretty good swim there by Spence Atkins. Wouldn't be surprised if that's around that 1:51 time. So we'll check that out when we get our final results. First of our 3 circle seeded heats now in the pool for the women.
Coaches, we've opened up a pace
Number
lane
14,
in the
Taylor
dive
Katz,
well.
center of the pool. She was
We've
fifth in
opened
the
up a
1,000
pace
last
lane in the
night.
dive well. It is the
Verity
lane
Abel,
closest to
lane
the
number
women's
7,
court.
19th in this event last year,
Pace
7th
lane
in
in
the
the
1,000
dive
last
well.
year. Ellie Gaylor in lane number 8, she
Closest
was 4th in the 100
to the
back
women's
last
court.
night. Megan Small, lane number 3, 200 breast
In
last
the water
night,
for the
10th.
women.
Anna Wejack was
Heat
17th in the
14, first of the
53.
3
So
circle seeded
out up
heats.
there in
The
lane
women's
number 3,
200
that's
yard
Megan
freestyle.
Small.
Heat 14 for
200
the
breast
women.
last night, 14 years old, from York, Pennsylvania, out first. So we've got Anna Wejack making a comeback there. She's at 52.89, followed by Megan Small. Once again, on your screen, lanes 1 and 2 are at the bottom. Or I'm sorry, lane 1 at the bottom of your screen. Over on the men's side, first heat of the 400 yards individual medley is in the water. So Megan Small at 1:20.51. heat number 14 of the women will be finishing up, and it looks like it will be Megan Small. She goes 1:47.95. That'll be your new top time. Pretty good swim right there for Megan Small from York, Pennsylvania, 14 years old. 1:47.95, your new top time. Next up for the women, second of our 3 circle seated heats, heat number 15 of 16. So your top time so far, 1:47.95. Megan Small out of heat number 14. In the water right now, fifth in center of the pool. We've got Adriana Grabsky. She was fifth in the top 53 last night. We also have up in lane number 2, sixth in the 1,000 free last night was Maddie Smart.
Now in the water women's course, heat 15, second of 3 circle seated heats. Women's
Maddie Smart, senior national qualifier in long course for the 100 free. She'll be a Virginia Cavalier in the fall. But it's Adriana Grabsky. Adriana was fifth in the 53 last night. She's from Sunbury. Followed by Ingrid Shue. Ingrid trying the breaststroke last night and 24th in this event last year. On the men's side, they're finishing up that first 400 IM, 14 heats. That's Patrick Savage. He goes 4:05.81. He's from Lehigh, East Hartford, Connecticut. So 4:05.81 for Patrick Savage. On the men's side, out of heat number 1, that is your top time through 1 heat. Here come the women. They finish up. That's Adriana Grabsky, followed by Ingrid Shue, and then Maddie Smart. All ladies under 1:49. Adriana goes 1:47.49, so that is your new top time. So for the young lady from Sunbury, Pennsylvania. That's Coach Jerry Foley up there, and the head coach at Susquehanna University, if I'm not mistaken. Final heat for the women, heat number 16, third of our 3 circle seated heats in water.
This is our final preliminary heat of the women's 200.
Out of lane number 1, you've got Shannon Rao from the upper main line wide. She was second in the 53 last night. Actually does not look like she is swimming this, so you see that off the start. Alexandra Myers was 10th in the 50 last night. She's in lane number 4, so we'll keep our eye on her. Katrina Tanaka is there in lane number 7. She is our national record holder in the 53, defending the 2-time defending champion in the 53. 8th in this event last year for Katrina Tanaka. We'll see what she can do this morning, coming off of that record-breaking performance last night in the 50. Over on the men's side, heat number 2 of the 400 individual medley is in the water. Final heat for the women of the 200 free, 16 heats in total. Down here in lane number 2 is Nikki Price, another girl from York, Pennsylvania. York's having a pretty good start right here on the 200 freestyle. Had a good day yesterday also.
Happy birthday to the
Nick Miller
from
in the IM. 400 IM. He's from Western Connecticut. He's got that long course time. So Nikki Price out of lane number 2, York County. She goes 1:48.00. Pretty good swim right there. Katrina Konopka comes all the way back, and she finishes at 1:48.99, followed by Sarah Cattermole, or Sophie Cattermole from Sarasota. So pretty good swimming right there. It looks like your top time unofficially could be Adriana Grabsky at 1:47.49. She could hold down that that spot. But we'll check our final results. All my results, of course, are unofficial, but we'll move into the 400-yard individual medley for the women soon. That national record set back in 2011. Haley Flickinger from York. She went 4:09:30, 13 heats. Heat number 1 coming up. So over on the men's side, heat number 2 of the 400 individual medley. Nick Miller still your leader, 3:09:39. Got our fastest long course cut coming into the meet. He's from Western Connecticut. What's that?
Scrolling the preliminary results of the women's 200 free. We'll do that after each event. Adriana Grobsky, unofficially the top seed, 147.49 tonight. Mr. Referee on the women's portion.
Once again, welcome back to Greensboro, North Carolina, where we're streaming live from the Greensboro Aquatic Center for the 2013 YMCA Short Course National Championships. On your screens right now, on the bottom half, you have the men's 400-yard individual medley. That's heat number 3 in the water. Top time so far, 4:05:81. Patrick Savage from East Hartford, Connecticut. And on the women's side, which is on the top part of your screen if you're watching streaming, is the women's 400 individual medley, heat number 1. 14 heats in total for the men, 13 heats for the women. National record for the women, 4:09:30. Haley Flickinger from York, Pennsylvania, set back in 2011. And for the men, Michael Alexandrov, Set back in 2003, he was 3:48.79. So heat number 3 for the men in the water. Bottom of your screen is lane number 8 for the heat, for the men's side, and at the top is lane number 1. For the women, it's lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen, lane number 8 at the top. So halfway through the freestyle for the men. And that is John Meisenheimer from Orlando, your leader. Two more lengths. I'm sorry, I had my eyes on the women's screen up there earlier. And John Meisenheimer, he's going to be finishing up here. He goes 4:11.86. So your top time remains with Patrick Savage out of heat number 1. Coming up on the men's side, heat number 4 of 14. And on the women's side, the 3 swimmers in the pool out of heat number 1. That's lane number 3. You can see her right there. Amanda McNulty from Middle Tiger, coming in with a long course time of 5:02.84. On the men's side, heat number 4 is in the water. Leader out of Middle Tiger out of lane number 4, Nathan Delahunty on the men's side. Over on the women's side, we still have Amanda McNulty from Middle Tiger. She'll be finishing up her last 50 on the freestyle leg of the 400 individual medley. So Nathan Delahunty, still your leader after the butterfly is completed, 55:07. Finishing up on the women's side is Amanda McNulty from Middle Tiger. She'll have your top time of 4:25.86. Coming up on the women's side, heat number 2 of 13. On the men's side, that's still Nathan Delahunty from Middle Tiger. He's 15 years old, on his back right now. And he transitions into the breaststroke down there in lane number 7. It's Chandler Lewis from Schrader, Wisconsin. So next up for the women, heat number 2. They're in the water right now. Delahunty, still your leader on the men's side. He's out in 2:35.33. So Nathan Delahunty opening up a huge lead here out of heat number 4. So pretty big swim. He comes in with a 4:15.45. But we know Pete Wright swimmers, IMers, distance freestyles down there in Spartanburg, South Carolina, always on top of their game here at YNATS. So real good swim here by Nathan Delahunty coming out of lane number 4, heat number 4. He goes 4:07.72. So your top time remains with Patrick Savage out of heat number 1 at 4:05.81. But great swim there for Nathan Delahunty from Middle Tiger, Spartanburg, South Carolina. Heat number 5 for the men are coming up. And they're in the water. 5 of 14 heats for the men. In the water right now for the women. Heat number 2 of 13. Remember, on the screens that you're watching as you're streaming live from Greensboro, North Carolina, in the beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center, those screens at the top, that's the women's course. Lane 1 at the bottom of the screen, lane 8 at the top. And on the men's course on the bottom of your screen, you've got lane number 1 at the top and lane number 8 at the bottom, and that's the men's course. Again, your top time so far for the women, Amanda McNulty coming out of heat number 1. She went 4:25.86. You're in the breaststroke leg now on the women's side, 400 IM. Even it up here in heat number 2 on the breaststroke on the women's side. You got Julia Bland up there in lane number 7. Erin Dunstan from New Canaan. I'm sorry, is Erin from New Canaan? She's from Greenwich, Connecticut. She swam for New Canaan High School in lane number 5. And then Sarah Wijak. So all looking pretty good as they headed into the freestyle, but it looks like up there in lane number 7, Julia Bland from Red Bank, New Jersey. Swims for Coach Jack Cascino at the Community Y up in Red Bank, New Jersey. Beautiful part of New Jersey if you've ever been there. I know they were devastated by Hurricane Sandy back in the fall, but Jersey comes back strong. The Jersey Shore, North and South Jersey shoreline, coming back strong. The people there love their beaches. And on the men's side, down there in lane number 7, that looks like Jacob Mason. Halfway through his breaststroke. He's from Huntington, West Virginia. He's out in 2:32.84. And on the women's side, Julia Bland, she finished it up 4:34. I'm sorry, they're still going. Nope, 4:34.14. They are not still going. They're getting ready for the next heat. So 4:34.14 for Julia Bland from Red Bank. Nice drop from her seed time. So in the water for the women, heat number 3, 400-yard individual medley. Top time so far, 4:25.86 on the women's side. Amanda McNulty, Middle Tiger. Over on the men's side, we're in heat number 5. Up there in lane number 1, trying to put a move on, is Matt Delaporte from Lakeland Hills. But Jacob Nason from Huntington, West Virginia, your leader, and he's down here in lane number 7, halfway through the last leg of the 400 individual medley. 3:39.86 with 50 to go. Once again, your top time for the men, 4:05.81. That was Patrick Savage, Laurel, East Hartford, Connecticut. And here comes Jacob Nason from Huntington, West Virginia, and he will go 4:09.27. So the 4:05 holds up for Patrick Savage coming out of heat number one of the better IMers in the state of Connecticut. So for the women, they're in the backstroke part of the race. Down here in lanes 1 and 2, we've got Lindsay Smolik from Cheshire and Madeline Riley from Middle Tiger. Bottom of your screens, lanes 1 and 2. In the water for the men, heat number 6 of 14, 400 individual medley. Heat number 3 for the women is in the water. Once again, as you tune in, we're streaming live from Greensboro, North Carolina, in the beautiful, beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center. Second year we're here for YNATS, short course style. As this arena just opened up 2 years ago. They do a fabulous job down here in Greensboro, North Carolina, putting this meet on for our YMCAs. 1,600 swimmers this year, 210 teams, 28 states represented. All having a blast. And there's plenty of fast swimming going on. 9 national records set yesterday. Nothing so far this morning, but don't be surprised if one goes down a little bit later today, or 2 or 3. We get started tonight at 5:30 for the finals, so you want to tune back in. Over on the women's side, Kirsten Daly from Wilton. She's out there in the center of the pool, lane number 4. A good backstroker. Young lady from Wilton swims under Randy Erlenbach. She's 14 years old. And she's getting pushed a little bit here in the breaststroke by Lindsay Smolik from Cheshire, Connecticut. So we'll see what they can do to hold on. And on the men's course, transitioning into the breaststroke now, halfway through the race, we've got Mikey Malici. You're a leader right there. But here comes Kirsten Daly for the women from Wilton. Kirsten comes in with a 4:38.00. We'll see if she can hold on. Looks real strong right there, center of the pool. She was 4:04.78 at the turn. So heat number 5's names are up on the board for the men's side, but here comes Kirsten Daly, and Kirsten goes 4:35.44. Pretty good swim right there for Kirsten Daly from Wilton, Connecticut. Your top time remains with Amanda McNulty out of heat number 1, 4:25.86. So out of lane number 3 and heat number 6 for the men, Chandler Brown from Middle Tiger is your leader. Once again, lane number 1 is at the top of your screen for the men, lane number 8 at the bottom of your screen. Trying to move up on Chandler Brown is lane number 6, Justin Dutrell from Sarasota. One more lap to go, 50 yards of freestyle for the men out of heat number 6. Heat number 4 of 13 for the women is in the water. Your top time 4:25.86 on the women's side so far. That is Amanda McNulty, and top time for the men so far 4:05.81. So it looks like Chandler Brown from Middle Tiger, he holds on. He goes 4:06.55. They're starting to challenge that top time out of heat number 1 of Patrick Savage, but it does fall short of that. But a real good swim. About a 7-second drop on the seed time for Chandler Brown. Good swim. Next up for the men, heat number 7 of 14. 400 individual medley. Now for the men in the water, heat number 7 of 14. And for the women, right now is heat number 4 of 13. Maria Russo, your leader at 136.49. And then up there in lane number 8, Allie Mendoza, 13 years old from Greenwich, Connecticut. You keep your eye on Allie. And for the men, up there in lane number 2, Timothy Kostolansky from Summit. Saw Timothy last night, I believe, in the 53. Some results from the 200 freestyles. I'll give you the top 8 on the. Actually, I'll give you the top 16 right now. For the women, swimming in the consolation final, Sophie Cattermole from Sarasota, Lauren Heller from Cayuga Falls, Verity Abel from Wilton, Spence Atkins from Sarasota, Taylor Katz from Sarasota, Jessie Snover from Middle Tiger, and Lauren Barber from Newcastle, and Hannah James from Sarasota. Coming in the championship final, your top 8, Alexandra Myers from Schrader, Maddie Smart from Wilton, Ingrid Shue from Lakeland Hills, Katrina Konopka from Middle Tiger, Anna Wijak from Greater Flint, Nikki Price from York and York County, Megan Small from York and York County, and your top qualifier with the time of 1:47.49 from Sunbury, Adriana Grabsky. That's the women's 200 free console and final lineup for tonight. Over on the men's side, your top 16, swimming in the console final, Bryce Keblish from Westport Weston, Ryan Held from Springfield, Illinois. 14th was Tanner Schelling from Boise. Ben Mays from Triangle area, Andrew Nesbitt from Somerset Valley, Ryan O'Neill from Western Monmouth, Kevin George from Countryside, and Charlie Fry from Blue Ash. Top 8 championship final, Brad Dzoik from Somerset Valley, Justin Meal from Middle Tiger, Colin Ellington from Triangle area, Vlad Komarov from Upper Mainline, Sava Turkanu from Hickory, Zach Malloy from Ocean County, Alexander Katz from Sarasota, and your top time for the top seed, 1:37.96 by Ben Creekmore from Brandywine, Delaware. Oh, on the men's side here in the 400 IM, halfway through the 100 free, is lane number 4. Looks like Liam McCain from Sarasota. Sarasota looking to come on out. So actually, yeah, Liam McCain from Sarasota. And on the women's side, just finished up right there, lane number 1 was Allie Mendoza from Greenwich, Connecticut. Your top time, 4:25.86, remains with Amanda McNulty. So heat number 5 for the women is in the water. And just finishing up for the men, that was lane number 4, Liam McCain. He goes 4:00.19. That'll be your new top time. A great swim there by the Sarasota swimmer, Liam McCain, 17 years old from Sarasota. So there's your new top time. Heading into heat number 8. They're on the blocks, and now they're in the water. Give a quick shout out. Give a quick shout out to my sister Bonnie McDowell. She's watching back in Hatboro, Pennsylvania. Welcome to our live broadcast. Former swimmer for the Hatboro Y, Bonnie McDowell. Hope you're doing well. So on the women's side, we have heat number 5 of 13. Your top time so far, 4:25.86. Amanda McNulty, Middle Tiger. On the men's side, we've got heat number 8 in the water. 14 heats in total. There's that Brandon Cole again from Wilton, Connecticut. And give a shout out to his dad. He was the leader there at the halfway mark, or after the fly. He's center of the pool. And you got down here also in lane number 7, Thomas Rutherford from Sarasota. He's your leader now halfway through the backstroke. So Rutherford at 1:26.70, Cole at 1:27.15. We saw Cole earlier out of heat number 1 post a nice 200 free time. Quick shout out again to Brandon's dad. I know he's listening somewhere around the world. Bill Cole. Big Patriots fan. So hello to Bill Cole from Trumbull, Connecticut. So Rutherford now leading on the men's side in the 4 IM. He's out 1:57.67. And then over on the women's side, we can see that heat number 5 in the water. You've got Savannah Robaki from Joliet, the Joliet Jets out there in Illinois. She's at 2:51.52. Again, bottom of your screen, lane number 1. So Savannah's in lane number 2. Top of your screen for the women's side is lane number 8. Reverse that on the men's. Top of your screen is lane number 1 for the men's side, and lane number 8 at the bottom of your screen. Still Rutherford from Sarasota, 2:33. But here comes Cole. Cole's a good breaststroker, and next to Cole, Brandon Cole, is Peyton Leeson from Sarasota. So we've got a Wahoo in between a couple of sharks from Sarasota. Wilton Wahoo. We'll see who will prevail. It is Brandon Cole moving into the lead. He's at 3:08.53. Cole comes in with a time of 4:12.00. That's his best time. So watch these freestylers from Sarasota as they transition into that part of the race. Women will be finishing up. They're halfway through the freestyle leg of the 4 IM. And the race on the men's side has come down to Rutherford and Leeson. Looks like Rutherford may have a slight edge, but we'll see what the clock says at the end. He does. He had his feet to the wall first as they're heading toward the finish. Rutherford, Leeson, and then Brandon Cole. So there's a 4:34.49 on the board for the women. Savannah Robaki from Joliet. But your top time on the women's side, 4:25.86. On the men's side, Rutherford, he goes 4:02.91. On the men's side, we've got a 4:00.19 for Liam McCain. That is your top time so far. In the water for the women, heat number 6. And now in the water for the men, heat number 9. Heat number 6 in the water for the women of 13 heats, 9 for the men of 14 heats. Top time for the men, Liam McCain, 4:00.19. For the women, 4:25.86. Amanda McNulty from Middle Tiger. So on the men's side, halfway through the backstroke, you've got Dylan North from York. He is 14 years old, out in 126.93 halfway through the backstroke. I know on the women's side, looks like up there in lane number 7, we've got Courtney Schaefer from York. So York putting it on here in the 400 individual medley along with Sarasota. You'll see a few swimmers from Wilton come along in the circle seated heats once we get to those on the men's side. So the battle, scoring wise, through last evening on the women's side, your top 6 teams: Wilton in 6th, 5th place is Sunbury, Pennsylvania, 4th place Somerset Valley, 3rd York, 2nd Middle Tiger, and in 1st place on the women's side so far through last night's events with 120 points, Sarasota. On the men's side, through last night, top 6 teams: 6th place Red Bank, New Jersey, 5th place Boise, Idaho, 4th place Middle Tiger, Spartanburg, South Carolina, 3rd place Somerset Valley, New Jersey, 2nd place Sarasota, Florida, and in 1st place on the men's side, Wilton, Connecticut with 110 points. The combined team scores, top 6 teams, tied for 6th, Schrader and Triangle area. Schrader, Wisconsin, Milwaukee, Raleigh, North Carolina, Triangle area are tied for 6th. In 5th, York, this is the combined scores. 4th is Somerset Valley. 3rd, Wilton, Connecticut. 2nd, Middle Tiger. And leading the way on the combined score, Sarasota, Florida with 212 points. Good race between Wilton and Middle Tiger, 5-point difference, 161 to 156 with Middle Tiger in the lead after day 1. In the pool right now, heat number 9 of 14 for the men, 400 individual medley, and heat number 6 for the women. Once again, thank you for joining us as we stream live from Greensboro, North Carolina, and the beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center for our 2013 YMCA Short Course National Championships. Action so far through the IM. Top time, Liam McCain on the men's side, 4:00:19. That'll remain as Campbell Lee from Sarasota. His teammate Heat goes 4:04, but Sarasota real strong in the IM so far this morning. On the men's side and on the women's side, York is very strong. So there's Courtney Schaefer on the women's side. She's from York. She takes that heat at 4:33, but your top time remains 4:25. Amanda McNulty, 86, 4:25.86. For the men, heat number 10 of 14 is in the water. Your top time so far, Liam McCain, 4:00:19. He's from Sarasota. And for the women, in the water right now is heat number 7 of 13. So Lexi Raybon out of heat number 7, lane 6, 1:00:05 out in the fly. On the men's side, halfway through the backstroke, down here in lane number 7, your leader, another swimmer from Sarasota, Matt O'Donnell. So Sarasota very strong in the preliminary heats on the men's side, and on the women's side, York and Sarasota certainly carrying on their traditions in the 4IM. Here this morning, streaming live from Greensboro, North Carolina, in the beautiful Greensboro Aquatic Center. So Matt O'Donnell, still your leader on the men's side. Pretty big lead right here. 25% through on the breaststroke. Down here in lane number 7. And on the women's side, still Lexi Raybon up in lane number 6. Sarasota swimmer, she's at 2:07.85 on her last split. Matt O'Donnell from Sarasota, Florida, 17 years old, comes in with a 4:10.30 seed time. His teammate Liam McCain is 4:00.19, leads the way. You want to keep your eye up there on lane number 1, Jacob Lamaldi on the men's side from Ocean County, New Jersey, as he moves up in the breaststroke leg. Still Lexi Raybon for Sarasota at 2:47.63. All Matt O'Donnell out of heat number 10 of 14. Halfway through his freestyle leg, he's at 3:33.02. His teammate Liam McCain is your leader on the deck at 4:00.19. And on the women's side, it's evening up right now. On the freestyle side. But here comes Matt O'Donnell. See if he can get, he will get below. He's 3:59.39. That's your new top time. Matt O'Donnell from Sarasota. First guy under 4:00 this morning. So Matt O'Donnell would be your new top, your leader on the deck. And on the women's side, your leader on that heat is Carly Soares. She's from North Shore, Massachusetts. 14 years old. She's in the red cap right there on your screen. And that's lane number 2. And we'll see what she can do. And Lexi Raybon comes back on that last 25 of the freestyle. She goes 4:30.45. But your top time remains with Amanda McNulty from Middle Tiger out of heat number 1. She was 4:25.86. Heat number 11 is in the water for the men. Last heat before we get to our circle seated heats. 14 heats in total. Top time so far, Matt O'Donnell, 3:59.39. You saw him last heat out of lane number 7 on the men's side. And on the women's side, heat number 8 is in the water. Son of the pool, familiar red cap from the Y of the North Shore for the women. Hannah Verrett comes in with a seed time of 4:32.89. And then right down here in lane number 1, Brittany Driscoll from Cheshire, Connecticut. Those are your leaders so far on the women's side. And on the men's side, once again, heat number 11 is in the water. Looks like lane number 7, Henry Hollinshead from Triangle area. Your leader at the backstroke transition to breaststroke. Very close. Next to him, Sam Day. It's actually Sam Day, your leader, and Justin Kramer up there in lane 3, then Henry Hollinshead. Kramer from Boise, Idaho. Hollinshead from Triangle. Sam Day from Northwest North Carolina. On that women's side, still Hannah Verrett and Brittany Driscoll, your leaders as they stretch to the wall on their backstroke leg. And they transition into the breaststroke. Hannah Verrett at 2:06.83, followed by Brittany Driscoll, and down in lane number 1 at 2:07.32. Lane number 4 for the men. Now it looks like Daniel Ross has taken over from York, Pennsylvania. They transition to the freestyle, so a great breaststroke by Daniel Ross from York. He was in the 200 breast last night. So it's Ross and Sam Day. Ross from York in lane number 4, Sam Day, Northwest North Carolina. Once again, your top time, 3:59.39. One more lap to go, 50 yards. Freestyle. Ross at 3:33.72. So he has a shot. He was 28.42. He's going to have to pick up the pace on that last 50. Got a lot of legs into it. Daniel Ross, York, Pennsylvania. Big time breaststroke, big time back half here. And he's trying to get under 4, and he'll just be over top. So he's at 4:00.25 for Daniel Ross out of heat number 11. We'll transition into our circle seated heats, heat number 12. First of our circle seated heats coming up momentarily on the men's side. Top time remains with Liam McCain, 4:00.19 through 11 heats of 14 heats. On the women's side, looks like Brittany Driscoll has taken control there with 50 to go. And now the men on the men's side. Got a lot of swimmers I want to talk about. Matt Moen, 20th last year in this event. Lane 1, 4th in the 1,000 last night. Lane number 2, Sean Higgins, 16th in the 1,000 last night, 22nd in this event last year. Lane number 3, Jonathan Glavich, one of the Glavich brothers from Triangle. Lane number 4, 5th in this event last night. He won the 200 breast last night. Max Dolan, great butterflyer. You can see him right there on your screen. He was 10th in this event last night from Wilton. You're a leader at the fly. Ian Rainey next to him. He was 6th in the 1,000 last night, also from Wilton. Ryan Scripp from Green Bay in lane number 7. And there's Brittany Driscoll. I hate to interrupt that, but I'll finish that up. Brittany Driscoll, she goes 4:25.51. She is your new leader for the women's side, 400 individual medley out of lane number 1. Heat number 9 is in the water for the women. Finishing up on the men's side of my introductions here, Grayson Davis from Triangle area. Ryan Scripp in lane number 7 from Green Bay. So Dolan followed by Rainey, then Glavich, then Sean Higgins. Always want to keep your eye on lane number 4. That's Eric Ronda. He is our top breaststroker in this meet, so we'll see what he'll do. But your leader right now is Max Dolan. Next to him is Ian Rainey. Dolan and Rainey. Rainey is a very strong backstroker. You can see he made up some distance there on Dolan. I know that Dolan's breaststroke is very good. So Ian Rainey is your leader halfway through the race. But here comes Max Dolan back on Rainey and Glavich up there in lane 3. But keep your eye on lane number 4. That would be Eric Ronda. He can make up some distance in the breaststroke. Once again, your top time so far, 3:59.39. Matt O'Donnell from Sarasota, Florida. This is heat number 12 of the men's 400-yard individual medley. So Max Dolan, your leader from Wilton. Here comes lane 4. Also up there in lane 1 is Matt Moen. Pretty good breaststroke leg right there. So it looks like it's 1, 2, 3, 4 for Wilton in this heat. Sean Higgins in lane number 2 from Wilton. looking pretty strong also. So into the freestyle, it's Rainey, Dolan, and Aranda, followed by Moen. 1, 2, 3, 4 for Wilton, and then Glavich, and then Higgins. And over on the women's side in heat number 9, looks like Alyssa Storino. Oh, I'm sorry, that's not Alyssa Storino. But here comes Maxwell Dolan, just moving ahead of Ian Araney. Here comes Rhonda. Here comes Glavich, Moen, Higgins. Pretty good race right there. Center of the pool. Look at Dolan and Rainey fighting it out. See where they'll be. They should be well under that 3:59 standard. They will be. As Max Dolan, he goes 3:55.42, followed by Ian Araney at 3:55.52, and Eric Ronda 3:58.65, and then Matt Moen at 3:59.71. So out of that heat alone, 4 Wilton Wahoo swimmers, 1 through 4. So pretty good turnout right there for Coach Randy Erlenbach and Todd Stevens from Wilton, Connecticut. So Emily Slaby, it was Emily Slaby, your leader on the women's side out of heat number 9. Next in the water for the men, this is heat number 13, second of our 3 circle-seated heats. Center of the pool, Brandon Flynn, second in the 1,000 last night. Greg Hahn on his other side was 11th last year in this event, 4th in the 200 breast last night. And Jonathan Rudder swam the 200 breaststroke last night, 34th in this event. He's in lane number 5. So pretty good field right here in heat number 13, second of our 3 circle-seated heats for the men's 400 individual medley. Down here in lane number 8, looks like William LaCosta is your leader. So here comes Emily Slaby, and she'll go 4:21.41. That'll be your new top time, Emily Slaby, 4:21.41, followed by Maddie Thomas and then Alyssa Storino. So pretty good swim right there by Emily Slaby from Countryside, Ohio, out of heat number 9. And on the men's side, Brandon Flynn, your leader, halfway through the backstroke, 1:24.00. Heat number 10 for the women is in the water, 13 heats in total. The final heat before we get to our circle-seated heats for the women, and we are in heat number 13 for the men. Top time is Max Dolan so far. He was 3:55.54, I believe. I'm sorry, 44. 3:55.44. That was out of heat number 12. So Brandon. So Brandon Flynn, 2:26.27, your leader on the men's side. Lexi Sander on the women's side, she goes 59.45 after her fly. So Brandon Flynn Just had some of the gate guys come in here. If you heard some commotion in the background, cheering us on here in the broadcast room. It's great to always have those guys mixing with the crowd. So Brandon Flynn, pretty big swim right here. That'll be 3:55.47. So Brandon Flynn, great swim out of York, Pennsylvania. 3:55.47. Followed by Jonathan Rutter, Greg Hand, and then Stephen Holmquist in that heat. So your top time on the women's side is 4:21.41. That's Emily Slaby from Countryside in the water for is heat number 10, women's 400 individual medley. Final heat for the men in the water. Third of our 3 circle seated heats. This features our top seeded 3:55.12 Nate Carr. He was 9th in the 200 breaststroke last night. He's in lane number 4. Draw down here on lane number 7, Luke Lechner, 24th in this event. Right now he's your leader at the 50 fly mark. He's from Huntington, West Virginia. Rest of the field, you got Mike Mitchell Stover from Drake County in lane 1, Jordan Berger lane number 2. He was 6th in the 2 breast last night, 17th in this event last year. Brandon Nestor from Orlando's in lane 3. I mentioned Nate Carr in lane 4. Lane number 5, 8th last year, Alex Keller from Fayette, Illinois. Sam DeLeese was 12th in this event last year, 16th in the 2 breast last night. He's in lane 6. Just saw Luke Lechner, and now lane number 8, Reed Henson from Lakeland Hills. So on the women's side, that's Lexi Santer. She goes 4:24.15 from Brandywine, Delaware. Now up on the women's side, first of our 3 circle seated heats, heat number 11. Women's 400 individual medley, they're in the water. On the men's side, still looking like Nate Carr, who was 9th in the 200 breast last night. Nate Carr still your leader on the men's side in the 400 IM. On the women's side, top seed in that heat, finished 8th last night in the 1000, Mara Pugh. She was 4th in this event last year. Right next to her, Courtney Harnish from York, 13 years old. She was 17th in this event last year, so you want to keep your eye on those 2 in the center of the pool. So Nate Carr opening it up, 3:00.16 as he transitions into the freestyle. Carr in his last 50s, 3:29.39. He's just split a 29 there, so add that together, he should be around 3:57, 3:58, maybe lower than that. Nate Carr, top time so far, 3:55.47. I'm sorry, 3:55.44. He's over that. He's at 3:57.29, followed by Brandon Nestor, Luke Lechner, then Jordan Berger. So good swimming right there We'll transition into the 100 butterfly for the men. National record 46.96, Tim Phillips, 2009.
Unofficial results are scrolling for the men's 400-yard individual medley. These results are unofficial. They are scrolling the unofficial results of the men's 400-yard individual medley. Our next event on the men's course. Preliminaries in event 206, the men's 100-yard butterfly. Tim Phillips, the national record holder. 46.96, set in 2009. 21 heats in this preliminary event. Will start with heat number 1. Mr. Referee.
And on the men's side, that's your first heat. 4:19:27 for Courtney Harnish. That's your top time on the women's side, the 4 IM coming out of heat number 11. 4:19:27. So she's your leader on the deck for the 400-yard individual medley. Heat number 1 of 21 heats in the water on the men's side. Once again, if you're watching on the men's side, top of your screen is lane number 1, bottom of your screen lane number 8. On the women's side, bottom of your screen lane number 1, top of your screen lane number 8. Second of our 3 circle seated heats in the water for the women. Abby Fisher, our 200 breaststroke record, 200 breaststroke national champion in the water from Lakeland Hills, center of the pool. And on the men's side, out of heat number 1, Tyler Gimple, he goes 53.87. He's your leader on the deck. He's from Piedmont, Virginia. Next up for the men, heat number 2 in the water. Also, Bethany Leap in the women's lane number 5. She is our national record holder in the 200 breaststroke. She finished second last night, broke the national record in the morning. She was 20th in this event last year. So on the men's side, heat number 2 is in the water. There's Andrew Delahunty. We saw him earlier today. Pretty big swim right now. He's out in 24:11, well ahead of the field. So Delahunty from Middle Tiger will take this heat and set a pretty good standard. And there he is. He's at 51:39. Great swim right there for Andrew Delahunty out of heat number 2 for the men. Coming up, heat number 3 for the men. Your leader on the deck, Andrew Delahunty, 51:39. Good start right there. Up in lane number 1, Bobby McDowell, Wilton, Connecticut. You want to keep your eye on him, see what he does. He's usually out early. Pretty good field, though, right here. Joey Letarte from Countryside, Ohio, down here in lane number 7. Coleman Stewart from York, a side breather. So right now it's Letarte, Stewart. Pretty good swims right there. Top time so far, 51:39. So Letarte and Stewart coming up to the wall here in heat number 3. They go 1-2. Out of the heat, McDowell goes 53.76. Heat number 4 in the water. Top time so far, 51:39. Andrew Delahunty through 3 heats of the 100 fly for the men. On the women's side, we are moving through the IM. You see the freestyle finishing up there. And on the men's side, we are in heat number 4. Of the 100 butterfly. 21 heats in total for the men's fly. Once again, international record 46.96. Tim Phillips, Marietta, Ohio. They're on the men's side of 52.14 for Justin Summers. I'm sorry, that was not Justin Summers. That was Sebastian Lutz. 52.14. Top time remains with Andrew Delahunty, 51:39. There's a 4:19.65 for Bethany Elite. That's your second top time for Bethany. She's following Courtney Harnish, 13 years old, from York and York County, Pennsylvania. Go, finishing up heat number 5. That is Justin Summers. He goes 52.87. Summers from Westport Weston. Pretty good swim right there. Next up is heat number 6. Your top time 51:39 for the men in the 100 fly. Andrew Delahunty. And over on the women's side, final heat is in the water. Heat 13, third of our 3 circle seeded heats. Top featured swimmer here, top seed coming in at 4:19.46. Danielle Valley, we saw her last night break the national record in the women's 1,000, and at the same time in that same race broke the national record in the 500 free. So the queen of freestyle is in here on the IM, showing her versatility out of lane number 4. And on the men's side, you have Kyle Stefanidis. He goes 52.11. Heat 7 in the water for the men. Heat 13 of the 400 IM for the women. Men are swimming 100 fly right now. Women swimming 4 IM. There's Astrid Swenson out of the North Shore. She's at 2:02.12 as she transitions at the halfway mark into breaststroke. So Astrid Swenson, your leader. Top time so far, 4:19.27 out of heat number 11 for Courtney Harnish from York in York County. So here come the men in heat number 7 as they swim under the flags. We'll see what these times are. Right there, a 52.54. For Wes Stevens, your top time remains 51.39 for Andrew Delahunty out of heat number 2. So here comes Danielle Valley in lane number 4, picking it up on the breaststroke. Got Nancy Hu down here in lane number 2, also Valley's teammate. And on the men's side, we've got the 8th heat of 21 heats for men's 100 butterfly. There's Valley doing it all the way back on the second side of this IM. Pretty big swim right here for Danielle Valley. We'll see what she does tonight. There she is at 4. So Danielle Valley, she'll have your top time at 4:15.18. She'll try to chase down her second national championship tonight in the 400 IM. Heat number 9 is in the water. For the men's 100 butterfly. Finishing up heat number 9 for the men at a 52.30 is Matthew Zabrowski from Red Bank. Top time remains 51.39, Andrew Delahunty, Middle Tiger. Heat number 10 in the water for the men. So their results, some results will be coming up shortly. I'm going to work ourselves through So heat 10 in the water for the men. 10 of 21. They're finishing up. There's Justin Chu. He goes 51.39. That ties your top time. So Justin Chu from Consenta Cañada, California. He is tied for your top time with Andrew Delahunty from Middle Tiger, Spartanburg, South Carolina. In the water for the men, heat number 11. And coming up on the women's side, we've got 22 heats of the women's butterfly. Your national record holder is in this event. She's in the final heat. 53.26, Courtney Weaver from Greater Flint, Michigan. Heat number 1, just about ready to dive into the pool. You see them on your screen once again. Bottom of your screen for the women's side is lane number 1. Top of your screen, lane number 8. For the men's side, it's reversed. Top of your screen, number 1. And bottom of your screen, number 8 on the men's side. Top time so far, Justin Chu, 51:39, along with Andrew Delahunty on the men's side. Out of that heat, number 11, that's Matt. That is Daniel Matthew from Westfield, New Jersey. He goes 51:90. Heat number 12 ready to get in for the men. And the women are in on heat number 1. Finishing up heat number 12, halfway through heat number 12 for the men. And finished up for the ladies, Maggie Miller. She goes 57:90. So that's a pretty good time from Harrison County. Maggie Miller, your leader on the women's side. And right there we've got Kyle Atzo. He goes 52:04. He's from Consenta, Canada, out of heat number 12. Your top times remain 51:39, Andrew Delahunty and Justin Chu from Consenta, Canada. Andrew from Middle Tiger on the men's side. Heat number 13 coming up on the men. Coming up for the men. And on the women's side, heat number 2 is now in the water. There's a 51:69 for Alexander Hilsey. Top times remain with Andrew Delahunty. And on the women's side, we've got heat number 3 in the water. Heat number 3 for the women in the water. They'll be finishing up right here, and you have Stephanie Moriarty goes 58:77 for Stephanie Moriarty out of heat number 3 from Wilton, Connecticut. So your top time remains with Maggie Miller, 57:90. Heat number 4 is in the water for the women. Heat number 14 finishing up for the men. There's a 50.49 for Brian Kelly. That'll be your new top time out of heat number 14. 50.49 for Brian Kelly. Good swim right there.
Great job.
So finishing up on the women's side, there's a 58.68 Sydney McNulty out of lane number 4 from Middle Tiger. Top time remains with Maggie Miller from Harrison County. Want to give a shout out to Dave Moriarty. I believe he's watching. His daughter just finished first in her heat back in heat number 3. from Wilton, Connecticut. Men are finished up there. They have on the board Oberlander from Wyckoff goes 51.63, but the top time remains with Brian Kelly, 50.49 from Lakeland Hills. Heat number 5 in the water for the women. Heat number 16 for the men. 21 heats in total for the men, 22 heats for the women. There's for the women's side a 58.49 for Mackenzie Stevens from J.F. Hurley, North Carolina. So your top time remains Maggie Miller, 57.90 from Harrison County, Virginia. And on the men's side, we pick up a 50.04. There's your new top time from Michael O'Brien from Somerset Valley, 50.04 out of Heat 16. Heat 17 in the water for the men. Heat 6 in the water for the women. So the top time so far on the men's side, Michael O'Brien from Somerset Valley, he went 50.04 out of heat number 16. And on the women's side, Maggie Miller out of heat number 1 went 57.90. We're through 5 heats of the women, coming up on the finish here for the women in heat number 6. And your top time out of heat number 6 goes to Shayna McLaughlin as she goes 58.58. And on the men's side, there's your first sub 50, Andrew Appleby, our backstroke champion. He goes 49.62. Real good swim right there. So Appleby is your new leader on the deck of the 49.62. Appleby from Cuyahoga, Ohio. Heat 18 in the water for the men. Heat number 7 for the women. Like Emily Huddock from Sussex County, she goes 58.35 for the women out of heat number 7. And for the men out of heat number 18, Brad Oberg goes 50.11. So it's now time for our circle seated heats for the men. Heat number 19 coming up. Lane number 4 was second in this event last year. 19th in the 100 back last night. Joe Shepley from Cheshire, Connecticut. Want to keep your eye on him as he's our top seed. Also Ben Creekmore, who's our top seed in this 200 free from Brandywine, Delaware. He's in lane number 7 at 50.58. So keep your eye on Ben. He's a strong swimmer. But right next to him, you got Michael Skibanewski from West Monmouth. He's out early. So Skibanewski's out in 22.75. Over on the women's side, heat number 8 is in the water. They're about halfway through. But Skibanewski, your leader, very quick in that arena suit. Nice turn there for Skibanewski. Creekmore right next to him. Remember, Creekmore swam the 200 free earlier, is your top seed, but Skibanewski, he goes under 49 and he goes 48.87. That'll be your new top time for Michael Skibanewski from West Monmouth, followed by Creekmore at 49.55. And on the women's side, 57.89 for Madeline Bannock, 57.89 and that is your new top time for the women. She's from Greater Richmond, Virginia, and she's 15 years old, so out of heat number 9. Your new top time is Madeline Bannock from Greater Richmond. Next up for the men, second of our 3 circle-seated heats, center of the pool. Top seeded in this heat, Nick Peterson. He was 3rd in the 100 back last night from Schrader, Wisconsin. Dan Hine in lane number 5 next to him, 9th in the 100 back from Kishwaukee. Also Ryan Held, he's our national record holder in the 53. He was 1992 last night, and he's also swam the 200 free earlier. So we'll keep our eye on those guys and everybody else in this field of the 100 fly. So Daniel Hine was out first at 23:10, followed by Ryan Held at 23:15. In the order for the women, heat number 9 of 22. Heat number 20 is in the water for the men. Here they come to the walls. They swim under the flags. Up there in lane number 1, you got to keep your eye on Justin Meal, but it is Nick Peterson. He goes 49:49, so that's your top time out of that heat. Your top time so far, Michael Skibanewski from West Monmouth. He was 48:87 out of heat number 19. And on the women's side, heat number 10 is in the water. Top time so far, 57:89, Madeline Bannock from Greater Richmond. So your final heat is in the water for the men. Sam Lynch, lane number 4, he was 2nd in the 100 back. Great wall right there for Sam Lynch. You can see him center of the pool. Lynch, coached by Jack Cascino, came on here as a youngster probably 4 years ago. We had Sam Lynch up on the medal podiums, at least in the long course meets. You can see Lynch right now putting it on the rest of the field. So your top time so far, 48:87 coming in. Here comes Lynch. We'll see where he is. He is at 49:11 for Sam Lynch. So your top seed unofficially going into the night will be Michael Skibanewski. We're going to take a break on the men's side. We'll finish up on the women's side. All right, there was lane number 6 out of heat number 10. That was Katie McKay from Red Bank. She took that heat. Top time remains 57:89 on the women's side. Madeline Bannock, heat number 11 in the water for the women. 22 heats in total. Here come the women. They'll be finishing up here in lane number 3 for the women heat number 11. That's Melissa Manueli. She goes 57:84, and that is your new top time on the women's side. So Melissa Manueli from Burlington County, 57:84 top time so far through 11 heats for the women's 100 butterfly. We're going to take a look at Courtney Weaver a little bit later on, but in the water right now, heat number 12 of 22. Women's 100 butterfly. We're on a break for the men. I think that's about a 15-minute break before we get into the 800 freestyle relays. Anna Gasparini from West Shore, coached by Michael Goprecht. I know she had an older brother, Stephen, here, performed well at Wynats. I think he's down at Duke, finishing up his swimming career. Maybe not, he might become a good master swimmer. Gasparini's from the Harrisburg area, West Shore. And winning that heat is Maddie Baker Maddie from Middle Tiger, 13 years old. She's 57:34 in that heat, and that is your new top time. So Maddie Baker, 57:34. Middle Tiger, your new top time through 12 heats of 22 heats in the women's 100 butterfly. In the water right now, heat number 13 for the women. Up there in lane number 8 is Katie Salaki from Sunbury. She is out first. 25:69. Pretty good going out right there. Again, that Sunbury Y's come on very strong the last several years under the leadership of Jerry Foley, their head coach. They're doing a good job. So we'll see if Katie Salaki from Sunbury can hold on. But here comes in lane number 3, Kira Page from Western Connecticut. She's 14. But it is Katie Salaki at 56:66. That is your new top time. As we move into heat number 14 for the women, Kira Page was second in that heat at 57:03. Pretty good swim right there for the young lady swimming under Jason Page in Western Regional YMCA in Connecticut. In the water right now, heat number 14 of 22. 56:66 is your top time for the women's 100 butterfly. Men are on a break right now, getting ready for their 800 free relays. And here come the women down here in lane number 1. Ariel Wallace. And lane number 3, you've got Kelly Carroll. She goes 57:36. Pretty good swim right there for Kelly Carroll from Summit, New Jersey. Your top time remains with Katie Salaki, Sunbury. She went 56:66. Next up, heat number 15. And they're in the water. So heat 15 for the women out of 22 heats is in the water. Looks like your leader down there in lane number 2 in the green cap, Mackenzie Street. Good strong breaststroker from Ridley, Pennsylvania. See what she does. She's going to be well under the time standard right now. And she is. She's at 56:01. So she is your new leader on the deck as we head into heat number 16. So Mackenzie Street from Ridley, she goes 56:01 and is your leader on the deck. Heat 16 is in the water. Savannah Townsend, your leader at the halfway mark there, coming home. We'll see what happens. Pretty close field in heat number 16. You've got Townsend, O'Prey, and O'Brien. O'Prey up there in lane 6, but here comes O'Brien out of lane number 3, and it will be Tara O'Prey followed by Caroline O'Brien. 56:91 for Tara O'Prey from Ridley. So a couple of Ridley swimmers out of the last 2 heats did well. Carolyn O'Brien, she goes 57-19. Top time remains with Mackenzie Street from Ridley, 56:01, heading into heat number 17 is in the water. Center of the pool, lane number 4 is Elizabeth Grazio, another swimmer from Sunbury. And Grazio's out in 26:11. And then down here in lane number 1, Katie Evans from Greenwich, another strong breaststroker. And it will be Katie Evans. She goes 56-96. Good swim right there for the girl from Greenwich. Young lady from Greenwich, she's 16 years old. She goes 56-96 in the 100 fly. Next up, heat number 18. Top time so far, 56:01, Mackenzie Street from Ridley. So at the halfway mark here at heat number 18, you've got Carter Orth at 26:21 going out at the 50. He's from Burlington County, New Jersey. So we want to keep your eye up there on lane number 8. But down here in lane number 2, Astrid Swenson, good swimmer right there. We saw her in the 4 IM earlier, and she's finishing up here in the 100 fly, and she will have our top time, no doubt. Pretty good swim right there, 55:87 for Astrid Swenson from the Y of the North Shore, 15 years old, 55:87 to 100 fly. That's your new top time. I want to say hello to those folks up there on the North Shore. Good swim there by Astrid Swenson, Massachusetts. Heat number 19 is in the water as they head to their first turn. We'll see who's leading at the halfway mark here. And it is Jennifer Deist from Edwardsville, Indiana, out of lane number 2. She got that orange cap on. Next to her in lane number 3, Caitlin Tice from Bath area. She's 13 years old. So pretty good race right here, right in front of us on your screen. Top time is 55:87. This is going to be under that. It is. Caitlin Tice, 55:43. Bath area, Maine. She goes 55:43. She's 13 years old and a leader on your deck right now here at Wynats in the 100 fly. Next up, heat number 20. They're in the water. First of our 3 circle-seated heats. Oh, the women's 100 butterfly. Heat number 3 is Nikki Price from York, Pennsylvania. She was 10th in this event last year. The only swimmer that scored in this event from last year in this heat. So Nikki Price, your leader. No, Katie Cool up there in lane number 7. Your leader at the halfway mark with a 25:82. So Nikki Price right now battling to the wall with Jessie Snover, middle Tiger, and it will be Nikki Price goes 54:61. That's your new top time for Nikki Price from York and York County. Good swim right there. Next up, second of our 3 circle-seated heats, heat number 21 of 22 for the women, and they're in the water. Remedy Rule was 14th in the 100 back last night. She's in lane number 4. Grace DeMeo was 21st in this event, lane number 5. Maddie Rush was 9th last year in this event, 7th in the 50 free the other night. She's in lane number 3. Up there in lane number 6, Maddie Zimmerman was 11th in this event last night. And right now, Remedy Rule out in 25.50. Followed by Maddie Zimmerman. So Remedy Rule, Maddie Zimmerman. It looks like Zimmerman to the wall first at the 75. Coming off the wall. Pretty good turn right there. Pretty good turn for Remedy Rule. Here in heat number 21 of 22. This will be your new top time. I believe 54.60. 1/100th of a second under Nikki Price's time. So 54.60, your new top time heading into the final heat, which features Courtney Weaver in lane 1, our national record holder. Final heat, and they're in the water. So Courtney Weaver, national record holder, is in the water. Split for the national record is 25.19. She is in lane number 4. Next to her, Katrina Konopka, our national record holder in the 50 free. Right now, Konopka's got a slight edge, but here comes Courtney Weaver. Center of the pool. These two young ladies. It's Weaver at 24.85. That is under national record pace. So is Konopka at 25.16. But Courtney Weaver under national record pace. We've had 9 national records already, 2 yesterday morning, 7 in the evening. And here comes Weaver trying to go under her national record, which is 53.26. And she will be under that. She goes 53.22 for Courtney Weaver. She breaks her national record here in the prelims. So congratulations to Courtney Weaver from Greater Flint, Michigan. I'm sure tonight she'll try to go under 53. Great job by Courtney Weaver. We're going to take a break on the women's side before we get ready for their 800 free relays. Record. So on the men's side, we have the 800 free relay in the water. Cheshire lane 3, Middle Tiger lane 4, Triangle lane 5, and Sarasota lane number 6. So in our order on the men's side, we've got the 800 free relay. This is heat number 1 of 6. Featuring Cheshire, Middle Tiger, Triangle, and Sarasota, all coming in with long course times. Right now, Sarasota out in 4:38.89. Once again, they're seated with a long course cut time. National record is held by Sarasota, 7:16.25, set back in 2011. I'm sorry, that was the women's at 6:37.17, set by Triangle in 2011. Lavich, Bunk, Rogers, and Walters. Sorry about that, reading the women's time on the men's course. Sarasota still leading, followed by Yoda and Middle Tiger, and Cheshire's in this heat. Well, in the next heat, I'll read some of the results from this morning, top 8. If I have a chance, I'll read into the top 16. Once again, we're streaming live from our broadcast center here at the Greensboro Aquatic Center in beautiful Greensboro, North Carolina, for the 2013 edition of the YMCA Short Course National Swimming Championships. There they are, 6:46.38. Sarasota finishes up the 800 free relay. 6:46.38, that'll be your top time, followed by Middle Tiger at 6:49.79. Those are your top 2 times coming out of heat number 1. Heat number 2 is in the water. Farmington, Michigan, lane 1. Lane 2, Kishwaukee. Lane 3, Birmingham, Michigan. Lane number 4 from Wisconsin, Pabst Farms. Lane number 5, Westfield, New Jersey. Lane number 6, Soundview, Connecticut. Lane number 7, Emmy Lyons from Ohio. And in lane number 8, Wilton, Connecticut. Wilton comes in with a 7:48.99 right now, out in front, and also up there in the lane number 1, Farmington, Michigan. So once again, on your screen, if you're watching with us this morning, lane number 1 is at the bottom of your screen, lane number 8 at the top of your screen on the men's course. You're waiting for the women's course. I'm sorry, I just said that wrong. It's lane number 1 at the top for the men's. lane number 8 at the bottom of your screen. Over on the women's course, it's the opposite. Lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen. Lane number 8 at the top of your screen. So we're in heat number 2 right now of the 800 freestyle relay for the men. Your top time so far, Sarasota, Florida, they were 6:46.38 coming out of heat number 1. They were seated with a long course time. They were followed by Middle Tiger at 6:49.79. Right now, your leader right here on the men's side for the 800 relay is Wilton, Connecticut. Wilton well out in front of this group. Under the flag, we'll see where their second swimmer in the water. They're at 2:04.84. So Wilton at 2:31.10. Big lead right here. See where they are. See where they end up when they're halfway through. 2:58.35, 34 for Wilton, followed by North Shore, then Farmington. North Shore in lane 3, Farmington in lane 5. So again, lane number 1 at the top of your screen, lane number 8, which is Wilton, Connecticut, swimming in lane number 8 right now at the bottom of your screen. They are your leaders here in heat number 2. They're trying to chase down the top time of 6:46.38. They swim this again tonight. Pretty good swim right there. So they're at 3:25.18 halfway through. So they're going to pick it up a little bit on the second half here to try to catch Middle Tiger and Sarasota. Matt Moen in the water right now for Connecticut, for Wilton, Connecticut. Moen, I believe, was 4th in the 1,000 last night. He's the 11th seed going in tonight in the 4IM, so pretty big day for Moen. Still Wilton, 4:42.21. 8-second lead on the field. Farmington in lane 4. Y the North Shore in lane number 3. See on your screen there, one of the coaches from Wilton, Todd Stevens. And final swimmer in the water for Wilton. So they're at 5:09.44. So they're going to need a 5:09.34 is Wilton. Sarasota 6:46.38. So Wilton will need on the last leg here to try to get that top spot. And 1:37. Pretty big task right there. But they'll be in the mix. It looks like they can finish this up strong, along with Middle Tiger at 6:49.79. So it's 6:26-26. He'd have to go 30 point to catch up with Sarasota. He was 27-39 on that last 50. Hopefully, well, you usually see them pick it up on the last 50, but it is a 200. Not sure whether that's Eric Ronda or not, but here they come. There goes 6:50-3:47. So they're going to have hold down right now, I believe, the third spot behind Sarasota, who was 6:40-6:38. So 6:53-47 for Wilton. Out of heat number 2. Pretty good swim right there. Do have some results. Women's pool's clearing up, so it looks like the women
Next event on the women's quarters, preliminaries event 207, women's 800-yard freestyle relay. Sarasota, the national record, 7:16:25. Set of 2011. 5 heats in this preliminary event will be starting at heat number 1. Mr. Referee. Coach of Sunbury to the announcer's table. Sunbury, Pennsylvania. Coach to the announcer's table. For those of you using Wheat Global, aside from results, we have the time trial heat sheet now available on Wheat Global. We haven't downloaded it, and that's an amazing app. Actually, we'll get the results before I do. Download the Wheat Global app, time trial site sheet, and the results will be available right in the palm of your hand. Correction, the site sheet is the heat sheet available on Wheat Global. Time trial site sheet.
So on the men's side, we have heat number 3 for the men's 800 free relay. Top time so far, 6:46:38. Time to beat out of heat number 1. And on the women's side, heat number 1 is in the water. We got Middle Tiger, Sarasota, York, and Triangle. Lanes 3 through 6. So again, it is bottom of your screen, lane 1, top of your screen, lane 8 for the women, and the reverse for the men, top of the screen, lane 1, bottom of the screen, lane 8. Across right here between Sarasota and York. Two of the top women's team in the country here in the 800. Both of them. The 1/100th of a second separating them. 2:43.04 to 2:43.05. Sarasota just ahead of York. You can pick up the results online at the YMCA Swimming and Diving site. Did have a national record set earlier this morning. Courtney Weaver broke her 100 butterfly record in the prelim swim, 53.22. I know she's shooting to go under 53 tonight. We'll see. But York right now, your leader at the halfway mark. Third swimmer in the water there, 3:39. Followed by Sarasota. And then Middle Tiger. And then over on the men's side, heat number 3 is in the water. And then lane number 6, that looks like Lakeland Hills. And it is Lakeland Hills for the men, 6:06.34. Big battle right here between York and Sarasota. You got to get that top seed tonight. These are long course seed times for them. Lakeland Hills at 6:33.37. Your leader out of heat number 3. 6:46 is your top time. Sarasota had that out of heat number 1 for the men. And here come the women on their last transition. Sarasota, your leader, 5:29.81. It's kind of flip-flopping back and forth. This has been very close. Should be extremely exciting tonight. And Lakeland Hills, they finish up at 7:00.14. Out of heat number 3. Next up for the men, heat number 4, the 800 free relay. There are 6 heats in total, so this is the circle seated heat. First one of 3 circle seated heats. The women, there they are, center of the pool. Sarasota, yellow cap. York, Pennsylvania, black cap. York won the 200 medley relay last night in a record-setting time. They broke the record in the morning, reset the record at night, and 5 other teams in that relay went under the national record that was set that morning. So some very fast swimming right here for the women and the men in Greensboro, North Carolina. Sarasota with a slight edge over York. Here they come to the line. And it will be Sarasota. They set the standard right now at 7:16, just off of national record pace in the prelim swim. So check out Sarasota. They go 7:16 for your top seed, 7:16.83, followed by the ladies from York at 7:17. 7:82. Middle Tiger at 7:21.83. Next up is heat number 2 for the women. With almost a record-breaking swim there in the preliminary round for Sarasota in the 800 freestyle relay for the women. Second heat in the water. For the women, fourth heat for the men. So second heat for the women, fourth heat for the men. Farmington lane 1, Kishwaukee lane 2, Birmingham lane 3, Pabst Farms lane 4, Westfield lane 5, Soundview, Connecticut lane 6, Emmy Lyons lane 7, and a Wilton in lane 8. On the women's side, it's lane number 1 at the bottom of your screen, lane number 8 at the top. Wilton, your early leader at the 100 mark, 53.65. We saw the men from Wilton, same position, lane 8, heat 2. Looks like the women are trying to do the same thing. Farmington in lane number 1 behind Wilton. Over the men's, the first circle seated heat, we've got Boise, Idaho out 2:58.93. Lane number 1 on the guys' side, Pal Crosley. Lane 2, Pottstown, Pennsylvania. Lane number 3, Anne Arundel, Maryland. Lane number 4, Boyertown, Pennsylvania. Lane number 5, Boise, Idaho. Lane number 6, Laurel, East Hartford, Connecticut. Lane number 7, Birmingham, Michigan. Lane number 8, Schrader, Wisconsin. So right now your leader in heat number 4, Boise, Idaho, 3:25. And Arundel moving up on the men's side. Now over on the women's side, Wilton, still your leader. They're at 2:16.57. Looks like Grace Hendy from Wilton up there in lane number 8. Down here on the men's side, still Boise, Idaho. Your leader at 4:43.12 out of heat number 4. Once again, your top time on the men's side, 6:46.38. Top time on the women's side, Sarasota, they went 7:16.83, just off of the national record of 7:16.25. There's Wilton, 3:15.23 on the women's side. Pretty big lead right there over the field out of heat number 2. And then on the men's side, still Boise, Idaho, lane number 44. Five heats for the women, 6 heats for the men. Heat number 4 in the water for the men. First of our 3 circle-seated heats. Boise, Idaho, just out ahead of Boyertown and Anne Arundel County right now. There they are, center of the pools, lanes 3, 4, and 5. Top of the screen, lane number 1. Boise pretty much leading the entire way here in heat number 4. First of our 3 circle-seated heats in the men's 800 freestyle relay. Still Boise. Boyertown closing the gap. And on the women's side, Wilton out in front with a 4:38.54. Pretty big lead coming out of lane number 8 for the Wilton girls. Wilton Waiwahu Swim Club up there in beautiful Fairfield County, Connecticut. 350 swimmers strong under the leadership of Randy Erlenbach and Todd Stevens and Derek Farrar. Still Boise, 6:54.11. Boyertown trying to close. There they are. They got it. Boise, Idaho goes 6:54.11. Pretty good time coming out of a couple of good times right there for Boyertown and, Boise, Idaho. A couple of 6:54s. Shaping up to be a pretty good race tonight. In the pool right now, heat number 5 of 6, seconded by 3 circle-seated heats for the men. And for the women, heat number 2. Last swimmer in the water, anchor swimmer for Wilton. They're at 6:03.62. Birmingham, Michigan in second now at 6:12.73. So pretty much all Wilton. They're looking to try to lap a couple of the teams here. Something out of heat number 2 in lane 8. 6:31.64 for Wilton, trying to hold those 28s and see if they can pick up the pace. Trying to chase down other teams to try to lap them. Heat number 5 of the men is in the water. Second of our 3 circle-seated heats. Top time so far, 6:46.38 by Sarasota out of heat number 1. So here comes Wilton. And they finish at 7:28.78. Pretty good swim for the ladies from Wilton. Coming in with a 7:48. They drop down to a 7:28.78. Next up for on the women's side will be heat number 3, which is the first of our 3 circle-seated heats. On the men's side, lane 1 at the top, lane 8 at the bottom of your screen. Brandywine, Delaware, lane 1. Lane number 2 is York. Lane number 3 is Wyckoff. Lane number 4, Ocean County, New Jersey. Lane 5, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Lane number 6, Ridley, Pennsylvania. Lane number 7, Orlando, Florida. And in lane number 8, Fanwood, Scotch Plains, New Jersey. Brandywine, Delaware, you're up there in lane number 1. We know they've got the best top seed in the 200 free, Ben Creekmore. That might be him in the water right now as he's pulling ahead of the rest of the field. Kind of looks like Big Ben right there. You know, I don't know. I'm on the screen, so I really couldn't tell, and I don't have the swimmers' names, but that was a pretty good swim right there, putting Brandywine, Delaware out in front of York, Pennsylvania. Right next to them, up in lanes 1 and 2 here in the second of our 3 circle-seated heats. Heat number 5 of the men's 800 free relay. And on the women's course, there's the out in the 100 New Canaan, Connecticut, in lane number 7, which is at the top of your screen. They were out first at the 100. So a pretty good field right here in heat number 3, first of our 3 circle-seated heats for the women. You've got Western Connecticut, lane 1, Oshkosh, Wisconsin, lane number 2, West Shore, Pennsylvania, lane number 3, Somerset Hills, lane 4, lane number 5, North Shore from Massachusetts, lane number 6, Burlington County, New Jersey, lane number 7, New Canaan, Connecticut, and lane number 8, Wyckoff, New Jersey. So still slight edge looks like to New Canaan, but here comes Burlington County right next to them. And this will be first exchange. Pretty good out there. 153.01 for Burlington County, just ahead of New Canaan by 3/100ths of a second. Still, Brandywine, Delaware, and York fighting it out pretty close up there. York slightly ahead, 7/100ths of a second, heading into the final exchange. So York just ahead of Brandywine, Delaware. Remember, your top time, 6:46.38 on the men's side. That was Sarasota out of heat number 1. This is heat number 5 for the men, 800 free relay. Now Brandywine, Delaware back in front by 0.2 of a second. Good battle right there going on between those two teams. York, Pennsylvania, lane 2. Brandywine, Delaware, lane 1. Up on the men's side, looks like York, Pennsylvania taking a slight lead over Brandywine, Delaware. And now on the women's side, New Canaan trying to stretch out a slight lead. And they are. New Canaan's out 3:17.51, followed by Somerset Hills in lane number 4. And right behind Somerset Hills, the North Shore in lane number 5. Always a tough day for the 200 free swimmers as they compete in the 200 free and come back and compete in this. And if they qualify at night in both of them, that's 4 swims today at 200 yards, all sprints. So give those 200 free swimmers credit. Hopefully tonight we'll have one of our gold medalists in the 200 free, Josh Davis, back with us at the mic. And he can talk about that 200 free. A painful event for many of our swimmers, but we'll see. York, they just finish up there with a 6:47.64. So York, Pennsylvania, 6:47.64. That's a pretty good swim right there. That could be your second fastest time for York, Pennsylvania, 6:47.64. And they were followed by Countryside at 6:50. Final heat for the men is in the water. Top time so far, Sarasota, 6:46.38. In the water for the women, heat number 3, still being led by New Canaan. New Canaan up there in lane number 7. Field trying to close. Looks like the North Shore trying to close on New Canaan. Final heat for the men in the water. So 800 freestyle relay. In heat number 6 for the men, Somerset Hills, lane 1. Westport West in lane number 2. Upper Main Line, lane number 3. Lane number 4, Countryside, Ohio. Lane number 5, Somerset Valley, New Jersey. Lane number 6, Red Bank, New Jersey. Lane number 7, Edwardsville, Illinois. And in lane number 8, Huntington, West Virginia. Top of your screen, lane 1. Bottom of your screen, lane 8 for the men's side. The opposite for the women, lane 1 at the bottom of your screen, lane 8 at the top of your screen. So right now, looks like it's changed over. The North Shore taking the lead They're at 6:08.94, followed by Somerset Hills and then New Canaan. And the women still at it here in heat number 3, which is the first of our 3 circle-seated heats. Still wide of the North Shore. .50 to go. So North Shore, 7:06.81. Your leader out of heat number 3, followed by Somerset Hills. Top time 7:16.83. Huge swim right there by Sarasota. And why the North Shore? They come in 7:35.92, followed by Somerset Hills and then New Canaan. Next up, heat number 4 for the women. Second of our 3 circle-seated heats. Women's 800 free relay. On the men's side, leader right now, Countryside, Ohio, in lane number 4. And the white cap. The final heat for the men in the water. Your top time so far is 6:46.38. Sarasota coming out of heat number 1 with that long course cut. Just into the water, heat number 4 for the women. Swimming in lane number 1, Countryside, Ohio. Lane 2, Ridley, Pennsylvania. Lane number 3, Upper Mainline, Pennsylvania. Lane number 4, Lakeland Hills, New Jersey. Lane 5, Somerset Valley, New Jersey. Lane 6, Springfield, Ohio. Lane 7, Reading, Pennsylvania. Lane number 8, Green Bay, Wisconsin. And on the men's side, Countryside still leading the way, slightly ahead of Somerset Valley and Red Bank, New Jersey. 3 very strong men's teams, center of the pool, trying to figure out how they're going to get their hands to the wall ahead of Sarasota at 6:46.38. You've got final heat. Pretty close right here. Countryside just over Somerset Valley. Remember, Somerset Valley set the men's 200 medley relay, so showing some versatility here. They set that record last night. The final swim of the night last night. They've taken over here in this heat, the final heat of the men's 800 free relay, 5:32.75, so 0.42 of a second ahead of Countryside, Ohio. Great tradition of swimming out in Ohio, Countryside, Lebanon, Ohio. Always strong here at Y Nationals. So Somerset Valley trying to chase down the 6:46.38. Trying to move up again, Countryside, Ohio. Kind of doing a little drafting. And they swim under the flags. Here comes Countryside. Pretty close. All these 800's been pretty close in these circle-seated heats, the way it should be. 26:35 for the Countryside swimmer. He did pick up a little bit there. 6:24.80. It should put him around 6:50. Both of these teams, and should get them back into the final 8. And it will be Somerset Valley at 6:50:21, followed by Countryside, Ohio at 6:51. Your top two teams, that's your final heat for this morning on the men's side, and we'll pick up the action over on the women's side. So unofficially, looks like Sarasota will be your top seed at 6:46:38 going into tonight's 800 free final. So over on the women's side, there's your halfway mark exchange. Again, this is number 4, second of our 3 circle seeded heats for the women's 800 free relay. Lakeland Hills out of lane number 4. Once again, bottom of your screen is lane number 1, top of your screen, lane number 8. So Lakeland Hills followed by Springfield, Ohio. 1.3 seconds separating those two swimmers, those two teams. Moving up, Somerset Valley. Matt Donovan doing a great job on the men's and women's side with Somerset Valley this year.
Coaches, allowing them the resources they need to train and compete, and to maintain America's ranking as the world's dominant swim power for more than a half a century. In 2007, we launched Make a Splash, a national child-focused water safety initiative.
I want to help you guys learn to swim.
Through Make a Splash, the foundation provides funding to teach kids to swim and be safe around the water. The goal, end preventable drowning tragedies that claim 10 lives across America every day. We inspire future generations of swimmers.
You have to be resilient.
And instill valuable lessons that make a difference.
There's so many times that are going to knock you down and you have to get back up.
When I grow up, I want to be a champion.
The USA Swimming Foundation. Saving lives and building champions.